Hello everyone, welcome to today's session. We'll start with a bit of housekeeping like we have over the last couple of days. I'm Elliot, by the way. Hopefully some of you recognise my voice from previous sessions that we've run this week or other power hours that we run every Friday, demoing other bits and bobs. So back to the housekeeping, we've got a Q&A panel open for questions today where you can ask questions throughout the session, so pop them in there. We're joined by loads of guests today, so it's the day that I was most nervous about, even though I am presenting tomorrow, because of all this technical bits and bobs that we've had to make sure that work. Hopefully we should all be good, and hopefully they should all work really smoothly as practiced. It's going to be a similar session again to the normal power hour we run, where we're running through some of the Business Central extensions and bits and bobs that you can add on to Business Central to make it a product that works for you, a product that's got a lot more of the abilities that that you can add. There'll be some live demos and there'll be some time for Q&As after each demo. So we're going to kick off with Continia. Continia are a expense management software solution and a document capture solution. Martin, if we could wait for a couple of minutes just to make sure that everyone could get in, and you kick off at 3 minutes past, that'd be perfect.
That's no problem. You just give me a shout when you want me to switch over the screens. Is that okay?
Feel free to switch over the screen now. All good.
Right. You can see the screen.
Yep, perfect.
Perfect. You give me a shout when you're ready. Good?
Will do.
Perfect.
Crack on, Martin.
Good. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Martin, and I work for Continia. Continia is a software company that creates add-ons for Dynamics NAV and the new Business Central from Microsoft. I'm going to show you document capture today in expense management. Because of the time that I got, because I also got some very nice other add-ons that are going to be presented to you today. I will not be able to show you everything. What I will do afterwards, I will send over some demo movies, recorded movies of the presentations to Elliot, with some more information that he will distribute with you. And of course, if you want to have a personalized demo, please contact Elliot or your account manager at Cooper Perry IT, and I will be happy to give you a personalized demo. For now, I'm Martin. I'm responsible for document capture and expense management in the UK and Ireland, and I'm going to start. So document capture will be fully integrated into your Business Central. And as the accounts payable team, you can have a role center where you can see a couple of things. On the left-hand side, you will see documents, and here you can basically see how many of them came in. They can come in via an email address that is monitored, invoices at your company name.co.uk. You ask your vendors to send the invoices to that email address. Document capture monitors it and downloads them straight into NAV for you. Business Central, I'm sorry. Of course, you also receive invoices via the post, put them on a scanner, and they'll be sent to Business Central. We can process PDF files and XML files. If you have multiple companies in your Business Central database, document capture will be able to automatically distribute them over the different companies based on text that is on their invoices. In the second column, we will see purchase approval. With document capture, we can, of course, approve, and we can also do credit notes. And in the role center, you can see how many documents you have to approve. I will get back to that later on, but I'm first going to import these files that I just emailed before this demo. When I press the button import files, the OCR scanner goes over the PDF files, and that OCR scanner allows us to do something with the text that is on them. Of course, we can automate this for you, but for demo purposes, we've switched it off because Yeah, I cannot talk that fast, and even if you're looking at on my home internet at the moment because of the COVID-19, you can still see it goes really fast. In your system, of course, it will come in a constant flow. Once everything has been imported, it comes into your document journal, and the document journal is the place where the accounts payable team will process the invoices from now on. In a second, you'll see the invoice appear on the right-hand side. In the top left, you'll see your to-do list. In the middle, there will be a template, and down below, there will be comments. So how does our software work? We're going to create a template per vendor, and on that template, you're going to tell the system, how do you want this invoice to be processed? Mind you, we can process any type of invoice that you might receive. We can do simple cost invoices, capture multiple lines of invoices, do order matching, multiple VAT amount, freight charges, discounts, whatever they throw at you, we can process that for you. In my demo today, I'm going to run through 3 examples real quickly. I'm going to start off with Lewis Home Furniture, a simple cost invoice. The vendors got recognized because of when I pressed import files, the system started scanning the document on the right-hand side, found the VAT number, and then found a match on the vendor card of Lewis Home Furniture. If there's no VAT number, the system will look for company name, address, postal code, contact person, bank account number, etc. I'm going to press recognize fields, and the system will create a template for me. It will try to fill in it as much as it can for me. However, the first time you must check if the system did it correctly. You see orange and blue bars appearing on the right-hand side, data in the middle, comments down below. So here in the middle, we'll see the template that you get with document capture. You can fully customize this to your company's liking without the help of Elliot and his colleagues, Continia, or a developer. You can do this yourself.
Martin?
Yes?
Could you just zoom in on your screen? We've had a question to say that the...
I cannot, unfortunately. Okay? It's a virtual machine. No.
Okay.
I'll try to explain it as much as I can, and I will send a recording afterwards. On my screen, it looks normal. Apologies for the, it's because of the virtual machine resolution. Apologies. In this column over here, you will see the values that document capture filled in for you. If you select it, you can see it gets highlighted on the right-hand side of the screen. It will always show you where it found a certain value, whether that's on page number 1, 2, or 3, so you know what the system did. Orange and blue bars, you see them. The orange bars are like the header the system is looking for, and the blue bars the value that the system found. It found the invoice date, the due date, and it validates the due date with your payment terms. If they do not match, the system will give you a warning message. We got a contact person. It found all the amounts, and it validates all the amounts. Because this is a cost invoice, the system asks for a general ledger account. Again, on that, because you're fully integrated into your system, we have access to all your tables and fields, also your general ledger account list. You select one, press OK, and then it gets filled in. The posting description, you can fill in whatever you want over here, combine fields from the template or the PDF file. You are in full control. Let me show you how you would capture something from the PDF file. With your left-hand mouse button, you'll drag a blue box, and with your right-hand mouse button, you'll drag an orange box, making this like the anchor point. And this is how you learn a value, how to capture a value to document capture. And you do not have to press any save buttons. This is it. Last field, invoice/credit memo. Document capture will be able to automatically recognize if this document is an invoice or a credit memo, and double invoices will be blocked over here. I'm going to register this one now, and then it becomes a registered invoice within Business Central. We got your standard purchase invoices page, but we've modified the page so that you can also see the invoice on the right-hand side. I'm going to quickly send it for approval, and then I'm going to press OK. I quickly go through. We got Cool Technologies. That's an invoice that we're going to match against a purchase order. Document capture is very good at matching, and we can do that in 3 different ways. One, we can match on a total amount level. We can match on a line level, making sure that we got everything that how we exactly ordered it. And we can match manually, and this will help you to, if a vendor forgets to put up an order number, for example. I'm going to match manually right now because this is my demo system. It shows me the receipt lines of order 1003. That's also the purchase order number that the system found on the invoice. It found all the lines. If I now press perform match, it will match order 1003. My demo needs to look good for all of you, so that's why it matches 100%. In real life, the difference will be shown over here, and the column and the line will not be made bold, so that you can immediately see where the difference is. We can do partial matching, multiple orders on one invoice. We can match the freight charges separately. We can set up tolerances per supplier. We got a lot of functionalities to make the accounts payable team life a little bit easier, and it will give you messages on the bottom what it did. I'm going to register and send it for approval. All right. Last invoice, an invoice with multiple lines. Document Capture is very good at capturing lines, and it doesn't matter if there are 3, 50, or 500. It will just continue on capturing. Document Capture made a mistake here. If I select the invoice number, you can see it highlighted the invoice date. So how would I correct it? Left-hand mouse button, right-hand mouse button. That's it. No more save buttons needed. We've now updated the template. That's how easy it is. To capture the lines, I go to Document Card. There we got a tab called Lines with a lot of columns that you can manually adjust. You're going to stand in one and you're going to say the item number can be found over here on the invoice. The description over here. Quantity over here. The unit cost, there you go. And the line amount can be found over here. This is really nice. If I now press recognize fields, if I can find it, there you go. It will capture every line that it can find. And now you can code it the way you want it to be. You can say the iPad goes to general ledger account 8330 and the mouse goes to general ledger account 8310. And if you want, I can also translate this to an item number, resource, fixed asset, or charge. And of course, we can add dimensions per line, multiples if you want to, and we can also do this on a header level. Because of time-wise, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to select a fixed asset, and then I will register this one as well. This is what I wanted to show you today about template making. I know this is a lot of information, but hopefully you get an idea that it's not very difficult. The approval can happen in 2 different places, one within our web approval portal or within Business Central itself. Both have the same functionality, only the web approval portal, some companies have their Business Central set up that you can only access it from the office, and with the web approval portal you can maybe then approve. While this is loading, we can approve in multiple ways. We can give approvers a limit and a supervisor basically. It will first go to me, and if it's above a certain amount, then it will go to my manager, Elliot, that you all know. And then if it's above Elliot's limit of £10,000, it will also go to the director, for example. You get an overview of the invoices that you need to approve. In the archive, you can look up what did I approve last week. If you got multiple companies, you can toggle between them over here. And on the top right, you can select your out of office if you're on holiday. Also, while this is loading, the accounts payable team can also select the out of office for your colleagues if they forgot to do it. This is how the approval screen looks like. You get an invoice on the right hand side of the screen. We can add comments over here if we want to. The whole approval flow will get logged from beginning to end so that you and also the accountants can have a look at it. The details from the invoice, the flow that will take through your organization, and you will give permissions on what people can change on the lines in a very easy and simple way. Approve, reject with a comment, forward in multiple ways, put on hold if there's a query. When you put it on hold, the accounts payable team also gets to see this in their list of all outstanding open approvals so that they can answer the vendor if they got a question. I'm approving this now, and then it will go on. Within Business Central, like I said, this functionality is the same, only it will look like Business Central. Invoice on the right-hand side, top your to-do list, your lines in the middle, comments on the bottom left. approve, reject with a comment, forward in multiple ways, put on hold. If you have the permissions to do so, you can make changes to the lines, add comments, out of office setup. I approve it, and then the invoices are in the final stage, the release bin. Released invoices can be processed one by one in a batch like I'm doing now, or we can automatically post them maybe at 5 o'clock. After the posting process, our system will stop. I think it will go to your banking module, and as soon as the due date is there, the vendors will get paid. Finding back documents can be done in multiple ways. One is document search. All invoices that are scanned with document capture are fully text searchable. You remember you bought an iPad, you get every invoice with the word iPad on it, and you can open the invoice like this or open the PDF file. And every word is indexed that is on the that's on the invoice, not just those orange and blue lines. Because we're fully integrated into your Business Central, we can access the invoices from the vendor card, posted documents, general ledger account list, almost everywhere where the system touches something within your Business Central system. I got an invoice here at the bottom. I can press Navigate, which is a standard Business Central button that you can find all throughout Business Central. And now you will also see a document capture file over here. And you can also click on that one. And then on the bottom left, it will open the PDF file for me. And there you go. You get the invoice. This was the fastest demo of document capture that you've witnessed today. So now I'm quickly switching over to my expense management. Expense management is our solution for submitting expenses and mileage claims and groups of them via an app on your mobile phone or via a browser. If you're working on your computer, for example, they all get sent to Business Central where the accounts payable team can process them. The approvers can approve them within Business Central or the web approval that I just showed you. And we got an extra functionality where we can upload your corporate credit card transactions directly into Business Central, and expense management will try to match them for you. We can do this automated and manually depending on your bank. Within Business Central, let me quickly refresh this. Again, the accounts payable team can get an overview in their role center. We can see settlements. Settlements are like groups of expenses. I'm going hopefully to Denmark next week for a big company meeting of ours. I created a settlement at Denmark trip. I've added my airline ticket, my hotel, once I'm there, some food and a taxi. When I go back 2 days later, I will close down the settlement and send it to my director for approval. And he can then see you spent £700 during this trip. The row next to it, we can see individual expenses. When you got a receipt, you take a photo of it, for example, and then upload it as an individual expense. You can see the credit card transactions over here. Mileage claims, we can do that with all the rules that you have in the UK. You can set up different mileage rates. After 10,000 miles, it will drop a little bit, HMRC requirements. You can add fuel receipts, attendees that you get more money per mile. And on the right-hand side, per diem. Per diem is like an allowance that you can give your colleagues, where you can say, if you're having dinner, you'll get £20 from us, and you decide if you spend that on a fancy restaurant or take away some takeout. And that's ever your choice. The app looks like this. It works on Android phones and it works on iPhones. This is a brand new emulator, and you're one of the first ones that get to see this. Usually I had to connect my phone, but this is much better in a demonstration. You can submit a new expense. The system, you see all these files, all these fields over here. You determine which fields those are. Without the help of your partner, Continia, you will determine how this looks like. The red stars are mandatory fields, and again, you will determine what is mandatory that your colleagues fill in. The amount, let's say it was £6. Then we see a camera button over here. That will open your camera. The paperclip will open the File Explorer on your phone. And this is a template button. If you have a recurring expense, maybe every month, then you can create a template for that. Once the receipt comes in, you select the template and then all these details will be filled in. In my demo, we have an extra blue ball that gives me like 4 photos that have already been pre-made. I'm going to select one of the photos now. Then you get to see a small thumbnail. And if you click on it, you get to see the whole expense. Then the expense type. Expense types is something that we created. Users select which ones they think it belongs to. And behind the expense types, we've coded general ledger accounts and how much VAT you want to claim back. We don't think that users are very good at this, so that's why we've done this for them. If I say food with guests, a new field will open, and I can maybe say Elliot, and then he's from Cooper Perry, and he was a guest, and then you got this nicely into your system. And then if I want to, I can add it to one of those groups that I've made. I can split it over multiple lines. I press submit and it's gone. Very quickly, a new mileage claim. It uses Google Maps. Very IT. I hope it's this one in Derby. And let's say we have to fly in from Birmingham Airport. And then it will calculate the route for you. And oh, I see I didn't switch it back to miles, but you can switch this to miles, of course. You can add via points. If you change the route, the system will give a notification to the approvers that you've done this, and they need to approve that. Description, demo at Cooper. I press submit, send, continue from there, or create a return trip as well. I'll press send and it's gone. We can create a new per diem from here, a new settlement. On the bottom left, you'll see your drafts and your open credit card transactions where you need to take some action with. And within the history, you can check out what got approved, what did I send out, and what got rejected. Last thing before I will hand over back to Elliot, because my time is up. If I go to my open expenses, this is the view of the accounts payable team. Nothing has happened yet. I'm going to press synchronize. And of course, we can automate this for you. It will send back and forth all the data. Then I would send it for approval. With an approval flow, it looks very similar to the one of document capture. And then it will get posted. We are setting up your colleagues as vendors within Business Central, and they will post the expenses to there. Also, one of the biggest benefits of our expense management is that the users who are submitting expenses do not need to have a Microsoft license. Only people from who are approving or are working in Business Central. I think the universe is trying to tell me that I have to stop because for some reason the synchronization is not working. This never happens in the demo before, but today, for some reason it works now. It's brilliant software, as you can see. You can get to see the original attachment on the right-hand side, the to-do list over here for the accounts payable team. And if there are comments, there are comments. My time is up now. Thank you for listening. I will hang around, but also if you've got questions later on, please mention them to Elliot and I will answer them. If you want a personalized demo, just contact your account manager at Cooper Perry and we will be happy to do this for you. For now, I wish you all to be safe and stay healthy, and hopefully we will speak soon. Elliot, back to you.
Perfect. Thanks, Martin. We've had some questions for you while you're on the line, so we might as well get those quickly run through now, if that's all right with you.
Sure, go for it.
Okay, so the first one is, what kind of file types do you support for the document capture?
We do PDF files and XML files.
Okay.
Those are the two common ones. If the customer receives a Word or an Excel file, then you manually need to convert it to PDF before it gets picked up.
Okay, perfect. GDPR compliance, is that GDPR compliance?
Yes.
Is that complied with?
Yes, so we got the Continia Online, which is our service that runs in a Microsoft Azure database that synchronizes all the data back and forth. Important to know, we do not store any of your data. Your data will be stored in your database or on a file share of your choosing. However, we do touch your data, and we touch a lot of data. So we get audited by the government twice already. We've got our, I think it's called ISAE certificates already, and now we're going for the ISO. If you want more information on this, we got it on our website, continia.com, and then at the bottom you find the Trust Center where you can contact our DPO officer. But we try to keep the highest standards, of course, ensuring to protect your data.
Perfect. And then another one we've got is you demoed that you can search for a word on the invoice, like iPad.
Yes.
Can you do this search for line items, even if you don't have the line item analysis?
Exactly. You can search for anything that's on the invoice, whether it's in the small letters at the bottom. Every word, every number is indexed. If you type in 100, it will find every invoice with those 3 numbers behind next to each other for you.
Perfect. And then the last one is, can you give me an idea of user costs for the expense management? I'll follow up that one afterwards.
Exactly. It's extremely cheap, if you're wondering, and but Elliot will come back to you.
Yeah, we'll follow that up with a general thing. Okay, so next up, thanks, Martin. That's all the questions for now. If there's any more at the end, when you're asking your questions, just make sure you identify who they're for, just so we can ask the right people.
Sure thing.
So next up, we've got the guys at Jet Global. So we've got Will, we've got Rob and Fiona all in today. I think Rob's doing the demo. So Rob, if you want to share your screen and then we can go from there. And unmute your mic if you haven't already.
Hi, sorry, can you hear me now?
Can do, yeah, perfect.
Okay, perfect, sorry, and hopefully you can see the screen. Okay, so welcome everyone. I'm Rob Jackson, working with Will and Fiona in the UK for Insight Software and Jet Global. This is what I used to look like when I used to get my haircut. So we're going to introduce the products that Jet Global offer, and the Jet products are basically focused towards reporting and business intelligence. So we're going to be looking at the core product today, which is Jet Reports, and also we'll touch on the Jet Hub as well. So just to basically summarize what Jet Reports is, so different approach. We've actually put our solution into Microsoft Excel instead of actually extending the Nav and Business Central product. Of course, we have to connect to those data sources, but we actually have built our solution directly into Microsoft Excel, because this is really the tool of choice of most finance managers. I've seen somebody try to take that away from a finance manager before, and it wasn't really too much of a pretty sight. But basically, Jet allows us to surface data directly from the source ERP system. So whether it's a Nav system or a Business Central system, we've got connectors that can link up to each one of those, and it basically pulls data straight in. So we build some functions inside Excel that are built very similar to the Excel function. So we have got this function wizard here. This puts together this type of function here. So an NL function is one of 4 functions, which I'll introduce to you in a second in the product, and it basically has some parameters, but the wizard makes it quite easy to fill this out. And then this function basically queries the database directly, and then it will return directly in Excel. So this is showing the sum total of the sales between a certain date range. And then in addition, we have the Jet Hub. So any customer that pays for Jet Reports has the ability to install and use the Jet Hub as well. So the reports are basically put together and designed inside Microsoft Excel documents, but then the Jet Hub allows you to upload the reports, share the report definitions with other users, and also to distribute the reports by putting them on a scheduler as well. And for people that want to work remotely, so this is in particular quite relevant at the moment with the COVID outbreak, the Jet Hub allows you to expose the URL for your organization, and then people can connect to that from any device anywhere. So the idea and the approach is that you have a report designer. They put together the definition of a report that gets uploaded to the Jet Hub and then shared out to users. So I'm just going to jump into the actual product now and just show this. So just bear with me. So I've got open here just Microsoft Excel, and we've introduced a new ribbon here item, which is just called Jet, and everything you're seeing here is both a combination of what people see if they're a viewer or a report designer. So there's a cut down version of this ribbon if you are just somebody who is a report viewer. And a viewer basically is able to execute a report and put in different parameters, for example, filters, that type of thing. So I'm going to focus on this tool here called Fast Financials. This is a tool that allows us to build a report pretty quickly. It's a good way of kind of introducing how the JET functions work. So in this drop down, I've got all of these options selected, and what we'll do is quickly build a operational expense report that shows our actuals on the general ledger versus the budget, and then show us a variance as an amount and also a percentage as well. So I'll choose to include the column headings, and I'll just drag this down to the expense section. So this is the 60,000 range, and then just come down to the end of the total, and with my shift button I can just select the whole range and then just click and drag the report directly to the Excel workbook. And then what JET will do is basically build a report for me. So sheet 1 is the actual report content itself, and there's an options tab that gets built as well, and this basically gets hidden when the report is run, but it actually comes up with some like a pop-up box for report options when the report is executed. If I click on this button here, you can see that the GL function is basically built for me. I can click on the function wizard, and then you can see here that the account number, the start and the end date, these are like named ranges, but this works also with standard Excel functionality where you would use the dollar symbol here to fix the column, so you can click and drag the formulas down and across if required. And if I run the report, I get a report options box here that allows me to enter some parameters. So this is what a user would basically see. So they've got the ability to add any options that have built into the report definition. So I'll just include everything here for 2019. And after we've run this report, this is the result of everything filtered down to this date. My options tab goes missing, so a report viewer, for example, wouldn't see that. But more importantly, we've got integration directly from Excel to the ERP. So I've got Nav running on my machine, but it works exactly the same with Business Central. And what this launches for me is all of my general ledger entries with the same filters. So the one that I clicked on here was for account number 61100, and then here what I see is all of the general ledger entries in my ERP with the same posting date range that I ran on the report. So it's really important for finance people that they've got a tight integration between the ERP and an Excel, particularly when you're running month-end close. So JET is basically, JET Reports as a Excel-based add-in is always reporting on live data from the ERP. So every time you press run and you refresh a report, then it basically pulls up-to-date information. So as soon as you post any journal entries in the ERP, like for example, if you're running a month-end close, as soon as you run the report, it will show you refresh results. Now, one of our trump cards, if you like, is the fact that if you've got multiple legal entities running in Business Central or in Nav, we can actually pull together a report. This is one of our sample reports. So if you take a look on the Insight Software website, you can see a whole library of reports that we basically offer. So this is a report that basically shows a profit and loss by company. So this is as it comes out of the box. So this will change the company names when I run this report. So if I just do this with a different date range, again for the whole of 2019, for example. So what this basically does is pull back from the database so these company names have actually switched now to what I've got on my local system. So I've got Jet Corp Alpha. This basically breaks down my P&L basically by my department, which is one of my dimension codes. So this would be defined in the actual definition of the report. So this is my consolidated amount of this broken down by company. And then on this tab, I've got my P&L by company, where one column is basically created in the worksheet for each company that is existing in the data source, and then this is my consolidated view. And these reports are dynamic. So for example, if I add another company in my database in my Business Central, then the next time I run the report, it would automatically include an extra column for me for the additional company that I've got. So if I'm happy with the definition of this report, I can save this, and then I can choose to upload the report to the JET Hub. So here, for example, I can choose a folder. So I'll choose this one here called demo. The report name, I'll just call this CP demo, and then press upload. And then the report will be uploaded in the background to the Jet Hub. So we'll just go into this, and I can launch the Jet Hub directly from here, but of course it launches on my other screen, and I can just sign in. So we support different authentication methods here. You can sign in either with a local account with Active Directory or Azure Active Directory, for example. And then straight inside here, I've got my CP demo report. And in here, I can see that I've just uploaded one version, which is version number 1. If I make a change to this report and upload it again, I would get version number 2. And in the run history, I've got nothing. So if I come back to run this report, I get a similar pop-up box as I want to do this. So I'll run this again. Now, this is no longer running on my local machine. This will be running on the server that is hosting the Jet Hub. Whilst it's doing that, I've got the ability here to share this report definition with other users. And of course, I've got the ability to schedule the report as well. So I can say, for example, send this report out every Monday morning at 9 o'clock. So once this has basically run, all of the previous run histories will be stored here. So one thing that people asked for before the Jet Hub was developed was, well, actually, what if I want to see the results of what the numbers look like, 2 months ago, for example? But basically, this will store all of the run history for us for every single time the reports run, either manually or on the scheduler. And then if I click on this, I've got the ability to open the report, and I get 2 choices, either to download as a local Excel workbook, or more importantly, if I'm working remotely, I've got the ability to open the report directly in Excel Online. So what happens in the background is that this report is transferred over to my OneDrive for Business storage location, and then it basically triggers Excel Online to see the report. So what this means is, because I'm completely browser based both in the Jet Hub and also in Excel Online, I could basically run on any web enabled device. So that could be, for example, an iPad, as long as that's got a connection to the internet and through to the the server that's hosting the Jet Hub, then that basically allows us to do that. So and also inside the product, we make available quite a few wizards as well for the actual design of the product. So if I just start a new workbook here, I can just show you very quickly that we've got like a report wizard that helps you put reports together, and we've got the these functions basically that we've introduced to Excel. So they get built very much in the same way as a normal Excel workbook. So I think the key points are for Jet reports is that you can surface data directly in Excel. You don't have to copy and paste anything from the ERP. The reports, when they're designed, are also compatible with most versions of Dynamics. So it means that any reports you can basically take with you as you upgrade your Dynamics to the next version. And also, we are able to report on multiple data sources and multiple companies directly into Excel. So what I'll do now is just kind of open up Elliot to any questions that you might have had.
Perfect. Thanks, Rob. Really appreciate that.
I don't know how I'm doing for time. I didn't really look.
Good demo. You've got a couple of minutes, but
okay.
I've pulled it onto mine. If you want to take it back, then feel free. Not yet. I will have done. We did have one question while you were talking, and that was, and I think you did mention it after the question was asked, but where is the data stored for the Jet Hub? How does that work?
Yeah, so so Jet at this time, we don't actually store any customer data at all. So it is on the customer's own database basically. So it is a web-based solution, but the actual back-end database of it is actually customer owned. So we basically provide the tools to allow customers to run the Jet Hub, but yeah, we don't touch any customer data at all. I mean, we do get requests, for example, to make this as a kind of SaaS offering, such that people can run this without their own infrastructure on the back end of that, and that's something we will obviously consider in the future. But yeah, but as things stand at the moment, we don't touch any customer data at all.
Amazing. If anyone else has got any questions, pop them in now while we've got Rob. I think another one's just come in. Can the reports be run on iPad and iPhone?
Yeah, any web-enabled device. So, of course, the Excel is used to actually put the report definitions together. So if you're a report designer, you would actually use the tools directly that we've built into the desktop version of Excel for Windows. So that's the version that you have to use for the actual report design. Once you upload the report definition to the Jet Hub, you actually log into the Jet Hub, and then everything is basically web-based. So if you're working on a iPad, you can do it on a phone, of course, but it's going to be obviously quite a bit smaller. But of course, you can run Excel on a phone. But yeah, the answer is yes, so long as you've got a suitable device with a web browser and you've got connectivity through to the Jet Hub where that basically is hosted, then yeah, that's absolutely fine. Yeah.
Amazing. Right, so we'll recap again at the end. If there's any more questions that pop in, I'll ask you to come back. But we'll move on to the next offering we've got, which is Zetadocs. Zetadocs have done us a demo, pre-recorded. So I'm going to move on to the next slide. It will automatically play that, and then we've got David in the call to go over the questions and any questions that might have. All right, perfect. Sorry guys, just realized I hadn't shared the system audio as well. I'll make sure that I do that now.
My name is David Hooper, and I'm the sales manager at Equisys. I'm delighted to be with you today to present our expense management and document management software for Business Central. Cooper Parry are a valued Zetadocs partner and also a valued customer, given that they use Zetadocs Expenses, our expense management software, internally. I have with me Alistair Brooks, who will be showing you a demonstration of Zetadocs in action, and Greg Cole, our product manager, will be taking questions. Let me quickly explain who we are. Our Zetadocs software packages help businesses become more efficient by dispensing with paper-based processes. The Zetadocs suite integrates with Business Central to manage travel expenses and handle the capture, on-screen approval, and electronic delivery of business documents such as invoices. Our document management solutions are widely used with over 5,000 customers worldwide. While Zetadocs Expenses was the first expense management solution designed for Business Central Cloud in Microsoft's App Source. We design our add-ons for Business Central and Nav to work regardless of your type of installation, whether it's cloud, hosted, or on premises. As mentioned earlier, Cooper Parry are not only an Equisys partner, but also a valued customer as they use Zetadocs Expenses internally. Now, let's take a look at the value that Zetadocs Expenses provides for your finance teams, for sales and field teams, and for approving managers. Firstly, it moves their expense management online. As soon as an employee incurs an expense, whether it be a cash or mileage, they enter it into the Zetadocs Expenses app, along with a photo of the receipt, and submit. This helps submitters to get paid quicker and reduces the hours spent each month end compiling a written report and trawling through paper receipts. It offers approval on the go. Managers can approve expense claims on their phone or browser, allowing them to sign off expense reports while on the go, in the office or working from home. Finance teams have visibility of each stage of an expense report. This helps identify where possible errors occur and allow finance teams to chase appropriate people to ensure the monthly pay run is met on time. Finance teams can then export approved expense reports to Business Central. No rekeying is required as expenses are recorded as purchase invoices with vendor, GL, dimension and tax codes already set. As this is all in the cloud with phone, tablet and browser apps, each stage is easy to do when working from home as well as when in the office. We're excited to let you know that last month we released a free express edition of Zetadocs Expenses. We have heard from Cooper Parry and other partners that expense management is something customers want, but often don't have time to deploy. Therefore, there's never been a better time to switch from outdated paper or spreadsheet systems to free online expense management. The new Express Edition is available at no software cost for reimbursable out-of-pocket expenses and mileage. It is available for up to 25 employees. We feel that 25 users is generous enough for most sales and finance teams to use in small to medium businesses, and for larger companies to fully evaluate as part of a team project. This Express edition is only available on Business Central Cloud. It's easy to set up and fills a gap in Business Central functionality for free. There is a fixed price implementation and training package agreed with Cooper Parry, so please contact them for further details. So now that I've outlined the functionality, I'm going to pass you over to Alistair, who will show you exactly how this Express edition of Zetadocs Expenses can help transform your expense management, and all without ongoing extra software costs. Afterwards, I will explain what features are available in the paid-for editions as well. Over to you, Alistair.
Hello, and welcome to a brief showcase of Zetadocs Expenses. In this demonstration, we'll show you from start to finish how business expenses are recorded, approved, and exported to Business Central using Zetadocs. To help with our demonstration, we'll be using three personas. David, our salesperson, who will be submitting an expense using the mobile application. Kevin, his manager, who will approve the expenses. And finally, April, the finance manager, who will check and export the expense report to Business Central. For submission, we're with David at the moment. To create a new payment expense, he simply needs to click the new expense tile, payment tile, and Zetadocs Expenses will automatically put in today's date. If we need to backdate this, it's a very simple process. Next, we need to fill out a brief description about the expense, and then fill out the vendor. Next, we select the currency that we wish to put for this expense, and then put in the expense amount. Next, we need to select the relevant expense type for this expense, and we'll put this as breakfast. Zetadocs Expenses does remember previously used expense types for previous vendors. Next, we'll select the relevant VAT rate. If VAT is applicable, simply tap the VAT reclaimable checkbox, and this will automatically calculate the VAT that you can reclaim on this expense. Finally, let's add a receipt to this particular expense. Let's take a photo of our receipt here, make sure everything's visible, and attach it to the expense. And with that, a payment expense is done. I'll now show you how to do a mileage expense. So to do this, David simply needs to, again, tap new expense, then select mileage. Just like with the payment expense, Zetadocs Expenses will automatically input today's date and allow you to put in a brief description. Next, we select the vehicle type. So we've just got a single personal car set up, and then we put in the start point and destination. Zetadocs Expenses is fully integrated with Google Maps, but also it remembers places you've previously been and previously left from. So we can see here that because we always leave from Equisys offices, it's put in that as the start point, and then destination. As we start typing that in, Zetadocs Expenses will suggest the places that we've previously been to further streamline the submission process. If you wish to see the route, you can simply click the map icon next to the mileage, and that's just shown there. Scrolling further down, we can see the mileage rate, the total expense amount, the VAT rate, and the VAT that you can reclaim on this expense claim. So Zetadocs Expenses will automatically calculate the VAT that you can reclaim on mileage expenses. Finally, we can put in any additional notes and add any relevant dimensions, just like with the payment expense. So let's create a new expense report and submit these expenses. To do so, simply click New Report, and then it'll bring up a report for the current calendar month. Next, we put in a meaningful description. So for instance, May events for 2020, and then we'll add those expenses to this expense report by simply tapping on the plus icon on the top right-hand corner. We'll add all these onto the expense report, review it, and now we can submit the expense report. The final step before this goes along the approval process is we have to assign the first approver and the processor to this. So for this, we'll be selecting Kevin, our manager, as the first approver, and April, our finance manager, in the processor role. If we wish to put in a submission comment, we can do so here. So let's submit this expense report. Now David is done, we'll move on to Kevin, who is his manager. So Kevin's just got a notification on his iPad notifying him that he's been assigned a new task. And we can see here a new task has been added to the tasks list. Let's click on that, open the relevant expense report, and now we can review the entire expense report. On a report level, we can approve the whole report, delegate the whole report, or reject the whole report and send it back to David. If we wish to go on a line level, we can click on that, and that will bring up the relevant expense. If we wish to approve this individual expense, we can do so here, or if we wish to edit this particular expense and we have full edit rights, or we can reject the individual line and send it back to David without holding up the remaining items on the expense report. We can view any justification here simply by tapping the receipt that's been attached. Just like with submission, we can view the mileage report, and if we wish to view the route that Google Maps has suggested, we simply click on the map icon and that will bring up the relevant Google Map route. We can see a full history here. So what we'll do is we'll approve this report as a whole. Zetadocs Expenses will notify us of any remaining items on the report that have not yet been approved. We'll select that as yes. And finally, we can put in an approval comment for this to provide any extra justification for why we approve this report. Everything looks good though, so we'll approve it. So this is Kevin's job done. The report has now moved on to our final persona, April, who is in finance. So she's using the browser for this. So we can see now that we've been assigned a new task, just like with Kevin. If we navigate to the report, we can see on the line level, each individual line on the expense report. We can also see a full history. We can, just like with Kevin, we can approve the report as a whole, delegate the report as a whole, or reject the report as a whole. And if we go onto a line level using the browser, you can view side by side the justification, so the receipt, and then also the expense as well. So you can make sure that everything all matches up. So let's approve this expense report. If we need to put an approval comment in, we can. Once we click approve, Zetadocs Expenses has now queued this expense report to wait for us to export that to Business Central. All we just need to do is navigate to status, and we can see here the new expense report we've just created. If we want to export this, we simply check the checkbox, go up to the ellipsis menu at the top right-hand corner, select export, and now Zetadocs Expenses is communicating with Business Central and is going to raise an unposted purchase invoice within Business Central, reduce the need for any rekeying of any of these expenses on this expense report. We can see that that's now been marked as done. If we go into the expense report itself, we can see that a new purchase invoice has been generated here. Go into purchase invoices. You can search the purchase invoice number that Zetadocs Expenses has generated, and we can pull up the relevant expense report. You can see here that mileage has been broken down into two different lines here, and this is so that you can reclaim the VAT on the fuel and not on the wear and tear. This has been Zetadocs Expenses, a brief little showcase. Please let me know if you have any more questions. Thank you.
So now you've seen what's included in the Express Edition. We believe there is enough in there to make it a really useful and valuable service in its own right. But there are upgrade options available that include great automation, control, and insights. For example, when upgrading, company credit cards can be centrally managed. Exported reports are fully customizable. Admins can better control company spending. Managers can base spending limits on business policies. Access to more thorough reporting tools, and finance teams can graph data to spot and curb spending trends. Now, of course, we're going to tell you how great the software is. So to provide some balance, have a look at what one of our customers has to say about working with us. If you want to take an opinion, you can also ask PowerHour, who use our solution internally. Now to move on to our document management solutions, Zetadocs Delivery and Zetadocs Capture. I want to focus particularly on how these products utilize cloud technology and help businesses during times such as the current lockdown, when many businesses are working remotely or with reduced staff. Zetadocs Delivery helps finance team members by offering batch delivery of Business Central documents. Multiple emails for the same recipient are grouped together for convenience, and emails can be sent from a shared from address so that replies are seen by all the team. These documents are personalized and consistent. The delivered files will automatically be stored in SharePoint. This ensures that customer information is available online for search and retrieval across the organization, including my colleagues who do not have Business Central or NAV. Other products on the market store files in the Business Central database, which means that documents are not widely available and isn't best practice. Zetadocs Capture allows your customers to drag and drop emails and files to Business Central, which are then uploaded to SharePoint using our integration for easy access. Zetadocs makes documents available to retrieve on screen via a fat box in Business Central or from SharePoint itself. This ensures secure access for your customers' finance teams and appropriate staff. Again, this includes staff without access to Business Central. With Zetadocs, information is available instantly to anyone who needs it from a secure and central location. Zetadocs can be used to send and capture any document type. Today, we'll demonstrate this by showing you how we can send out a batch of issued reminders, which will be personalized to each customer. We will then capture the response from the customer against the record so that everything that has been sent out and captured is visible against the record in Business Central and indexed correctly in SharePoint. Over to you, Alistair.
Thank you, David. Just to preface this demo, Zetadocs supports any document type within Business Central and can improve a variety of financial processes to be more efficient. For this demonstration, we're going to be using collections management as a point solution. So first, we simply need to navigate to issued reminders. If I could please draw your attention to where I'm indicating with my cursor, this is what we call the Zetadocs fact box. This keeps a record of any incoming or outgoing documents. So any files recorded against the record using Zetadocs Capture or outgoing documents sent out via Zetadocs Delivery, allowing you to easily view all documentation relating to this record. To send out a batch of issued reminders, simply click the Zetadocs Send button and select the range of documents you want to send out. Zetadocs Delivery will now prepare a personalized batch of emails to be sent out to your customers, and will also apply any rules you have set up for those customers. We can notice that in the template area, different templates have been selected per customer. So based on the length of time of the unpaid invoices and the reminder level, Zetadocs Delivery has automatically worked out and selected which templates to send out to your customers. These templates and rules can be very easily configured in your settings. Clicking OK, Zetadocs Delivery will now send out that batch of personalized emails. We can now see a few of these emails coming through. If we click on one of the reminders, we can see that this is quite a soft reminder and that the payment is only slightly overdue. The wording of the email is quite soft and is just gently reminding the customer that the balance is overdue. Attached to the email, we can see the reminder itself. Clicking on it, we can see the relevant email with a personalized template with an overdue watermark on it. Navigating back to our outbox, we can see one of the final reminders that we saw earlier, with a final reminder template being attached. The email body is a much firmer, really drilling down and reminding the customer that payment is necessary, as well as providing all the relevant documentation to support the reminder. Viewing the reminder attached, we can see a final demand watermark on the personalized template. And going back to the supporting documentation, if we open up one of the sales invoices, we can see the invoice itself attached with a copy watermark. So we can see here that Zetadocs Delivery has automatically and dynamically attached all the relevant documentation for those issued reminders. From those, we can see that one of our customers has emailed apologizing for the delay in how long it's taken to get that payment through. To record this, we simply need to drag and drop the relevant document into the Zetadocs fact box. So this works for any file type. And what it's doing now is uploading it and archiving it into a SharePoint archive. You can either view the document by clicking on a record within the Zetadocs fact box, or you can navigate to it via SharePoint. You can see here that we've got it broken down into a folder structure. It's a 3-tier folder structure broken down onto company name, document type, and finally date. If you wish to use metadata to search the library, you can do so very simply, and this is very good for streamlining the data retrieval process. That's all from me for now. I'll now pass you back over to David. Thank you very much.
So today, I hope you've seen how our seamless integration with Business Central makes various finance processes easier for everyone involved. If you'd like to know more, please contact Cooper Parry for more information or to request a personalized demonstration of Zetadocs. So thank you very much. I'm now going to pass you over to Greg, who will be taking questions.
Perfect. I apologise if you had any issues in there. You always forget to mute myself before going on to PowerPoint. So we are back with questions.
All right.
Let me have a quick look and see what we've been asked. can the system define the approver rather than the expense entry user picking someone?
Thanks, Elliot. So I'm not sure if you can hear me.
Can hear you, yep, Greg.
Okay. Right, so our Essentials Edition allows a much finer control over the approval with features like departmental approvers and the ability to set default approvers per submitter. With the Express Edition, which is what Alistair showed you, the submitter chooses their approver from a list of available approvers, which we think is ideal for a sort of a 25 user system.
Perfect. Next one is, you've mentioned that all of your solutions are cloud ready. Are they also available on premise?
I'm sorry, I missed that.
You've mentioned that all your solutions are cloud ready. Are they also available on premise?
Yeah, all of our extensions for Business Central can be deployed on premises, and the beauty of them is that they're all cloud ready, so meaning that they will not block you from upgrading to Business Central Cloud when you choose to move. They will just move with you.
Perfect. Then the next one is, can you view the invoices from the Zetadocs Expenses from within BC once the PL invoice has been posted, i.e. 6 months later, or do you need to go back into Zetadocs?
So we always store, and I guess you mean the receipts and things like that. We
Yes.
always store those within our service. So we do write a link, a URL. So as long as you have access to the service, you can always access those receipts during order times. Yeah.
Amazing. And then the last one we've got is, what implementation and support options are available?
Okay, so we've curated sort of a comprehensive free online help with a sort of step-by-step guide to get the Express Edition installed with sort of 3 simple steps. There's also field level help available if you need it, and we've got a selection of quick start videos designed to get your staff and employees trained up and up to speed on using the system. For those of you who'd like a little bit more help, we've got some implementation and annual support plans available for purchase, and I think you've got details of those, Elliot, which you'll be able to share.
Absolutely do, yeah. Perfect. So that's it for the questions. Thank you all for helping me out with today's session. I definitely couldn't have done it without all the support from Continia, Jet and Zetadocs. Really appreciate that. Just a little plug for tomorrow's session before we finish. I'm aware we've already overran. And tomorrow's session, the last one of the week, is what's different, how much has changed in NAV to what's currently in Business Central, and what makes Business Central so special is kind of how we'd like to finish the week off with, making sure that we've covered all bases. Hope to see you all tomorrow, and looking forward to catching up once the week's over. Thanks, guys.